35 onward, where James and John come forward, and we're going to have, you can bring your sheet with you because you haven't memorized and so on. And so I'm going to need somebody to be a James, and somebody to be a John, and someone to be Jesus, and somebody to be the narrator. And the rest of you will be disciples and crowd that kind of follow along, okay? And we'll just act it up here. We'll have James and John come forward to Jesus, and Jesus responds, and the narrator can stand back here and read the other parts. And then the rest of you can kind of be the other disciples that are kind of following along. So who will be James for us? Okay, who will be John? Okay, who will be Jesus? You don't have to make it up. Okay, Jesus. Who will be the narrator? Okay? Okay, we've got narrator. Come up and take your places. And the rest of you, right, the rest of you, we've got James and narrator, this is James and John here. The rest of you, on your seats here, and you can be the disciples over here. Maybe some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that right? Wow, it's just the right number. All right, you're disciple over there.
I thought you were going to have us split up.
No, I thought we needed somebody to be the crowd.
Oh, sorry. I guess I'm Judas, apparently.
Do the rest of it.
Maybe I should be over there.
Okay, disciple. You're not being, but all right. Okay, go ahead. There he is.
James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came forward to him and said to him,
Teacher, we want you to do for us whatever we ask of you.
Give us stuff.
and he said to them,
What is it that you want me to do for you?
and they said to him,
Grant us to sit one at your right hand and one at your left in your glory.
and Jesus said to them,
You do not know what you are asking. Are you able to drink of the cup that I drink, or be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with?
They replied,
We are able.
Then Jesus said to them,
The cup that I drink, you will drink, and with the baptism with which I am baptized, you will be baptized. But to sit at my right hand or at my left is not mine to grant, for it is for those for whom it has been prepared.
When the 10 heard this, they began to be angry with James and John. So Jesus called to them and said to them,
You know that among the Gentiles, those whom they recognize as their rulers lord it over them, and their great ones are tyrants over them. But it is not so among you. But whoever wishes to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wishes to be first among you must be slave of all. For the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many.
Okay, stay right where you are. You saying we're Bob. I'm Andy. Okay. James and John, I'm going to ask you first. What in the world were you thinking, and what were you feeling? What was going on with you? Yeah, go ahead.
Felt a sense of urgency.
Okay.
A sense of urgency.
What were you urgent about?
Well, I wanted something, and I knew from before that Jesus, our teacher, might not be around for very long. So I need to get my stuff together right now, because we're on our way to Jerusalem.
What about you?
And then felt, so yeah, agreed, but then felt frustrated when Jesus tells us we don't know what we're asking.
Yeah,
It's like, we
just asked it.
want this, and then it doesn't give us a straight answer.
Jesus never gives straight answers.
You disciples over there, what were you thinking? Any of you?
Takes a lot of chutzpah to asking Jesus that kind of stuff.
Especially on the way to.
What else was going on? What were you thinking about these guys?
What makes you think you're better than us that you can ask about
And they say they are. You're better than us. You're better than us. So divisions that
Jesus, what were you thinking? I have a problem with them knowing that I'm on my way to be crucified and tortured, and them being concerned about where they stand. But separate from that, as far as the dialogue goes, I was, I felt like they don't know really what they're asking, because they logically, I've told them what's going to happen, and I say to them, you have to go through this too, and they say, they're pretty cavalier about it. They're not really grasping the enormity of what it will take.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to stop with that one, but all of you stay up here because we're going to briefly do the role play of Bartimaeus. And so I need, just go back to your seats, but I will need another narrator. So who would be narrator for you this time? Who would be narrator? Okay, narrator, thank you. And then we need a Bartimaeus. Who will be Bartimaeus? Okay, good. We will need Jesus. Who will be Jesus this time? Who will be Jesus? We're sitting down already. Okay, we'll need Jesus. Who will be Jesus? Okay, good. Thank you, Jesus. And then we need the other disciples. Let's have about 5 other people who are kind of the disciples, and then the rest of you would kind of like to be the crowd. Okay, you're all part of this too. So here's a narrator. Here's Bartimaeus sitting in the tree. Okay, and this is Jesus. And let's have a few other disciples that are kind of close over here to Jesus, because they're going to be walking along. Okay, good. You can have, you can be a disciple too, all right? Okay, and then the crowd is kind of along the roadside here. Okay, just be, along the roadside here. And, but how about you get back here so we can see good, see well? And, okay, here we go.
They came to Jericho. As he and his disciples and a large crowd were leaving Jericho, Bartimaeus, son of Timaeus, a blind beggar, was sitting by the roadside. When he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to shout out and say,
Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me.
Then he sternly ordered him to be quiet. Out even more loudly.
Son of David, have mercy on me.
Jesus stood still and said, "Call him here." And they called the blind man, saying to him, "Take heart.
Get up. He's
calling." So throwing off his cloak, he sprang up and came to Jesus. Then Jesus said to him, "What do you want me to do for you?" The blind man said to him,
My teacher, let me see again.
Jesus said to him, "Go, your faith has made you well." Immediately he regained his sight and followed Jesus on the way.
Wow, that means healed. Would the main characters come back over here for just a minute? And the disciples who are over here, you can even be let's first of all ask Bartimaeus, what were you thinking? What were you hearing? What was going on with you sitting by the road? You probably sat there quite often. What were you thinking?
Yeah, wonderful. Jesus is here. I can see again, because he's a healer. So let me cry out to him.
You were going to, all right.
This is great news for me.
And what about you, disciples who've been so faithful following Jesus along? What's going on with you?
like, are we gonna stop for every person along?
There it was.
We have an
We are
agenda.
never gonna
We
get
got floggings
there.
to get to.
We have things to do.
Yeah.
You've been following, that's everything, you've been following, are we gonna stop for everyone along the way? Yeah. Wow.
How about, we, two of us just asked for everything we ever wanted, and Jesus said no. And now, and we've been like following Jesus and, you know, being dedicated, I mean, being stupid, but being dedicated as much as we can, you know. And then here's this yahoo on the street who, you know, can't contribute to society or anything.
Yeah, yeah, you don't think much of it.
Yeah, and he wants a miracle. I'm like, yeah, right. Sorry.
What about the crowds over here? What are you doing here anyway? And what's going on with you when you see the scene?
You live here.
Pardon?
You live here.
You live here.
We're gonna see a celebrity and he's embarrassing us.
Oh, here comes a celebrity and he's embarrassing.
Yeah.
What else is going on here when these events occur? Yeah.
This is why we get on nice things.
And then when Jesus calls him and the healing takes place, what goes on with you then?
You're totally a celebrity too. We're gonna let you now.
Oh, I love the words what you just did, Katie.
Mind blown.
Mind blowing. Oh, and now you like him. Interesting. So now we'll come along. Because he's been changed in your eyes. So now he's accepted. Not before.
Well, from the second Jesus calls, it like says he can come, then we're like, oh, never mind, don't, like, hush it up, get up, like, even before a miracle happens. as
Well,
soon
wait,
as
who
Jesus-
is calling? So Jesus calls, but who responds? Because it just says they called the blind man saying to him.
So you don't know.
So is it the disciples saying it, or is it the crowd who's just mad?
The crowd did it in our.
Yeah, but I was wondering about that, like,
Yeah.
is that their role, is that ours? Because we were just sternly ordering him to be quiet.
You don't even know if they were the ones or if the crowd is, but when we're getting up and doing it, all of a sudden these questions are clear. But the change of viewpoint. Interesting, one time I did this with a group of people and the disciples, and I was doing it with a group of pastors, and they said, wow, how many people do we keep away from Jesus? And it just dawned on me. And the whole thing was voluntary. Thank you so much. No, yes,
Well, they were the ones like Shane and were supporting him like the crowd, but then they did the quick 180 because of my authority. And basically, even though all the people are watching me all the time and follow me around, the person who cannot physically see me believes, knows who I am. And so it was that. I felt I could see the sincerity of his faith, and that's why I could hear his. I wanted to pay attention to that because people always get caught up in that I'm a celebrity, but it's kind of annoying, and so I wanted to see the sincerity.
And you could hear it, and you really did cry out. And you heard that and responded to that curing. Jesus responds to our curing. I'd like you to take your seats, because we have one more to do. Thank you very, very much.